following is an exclusive presentation of Ravens Productions.
What's up, Ravens fans? Welcome into a fresh edition of Ravens Unscripted. As always, coming to you from the Under Armour Performance Center. A lot to get into after that stunning loss to the Saints, and to help me do so, introduce the panel here. We got Ravens media members Ryan Mink and Cliff Brown, and Jarret Johnson making his debut on the show. Jarret, good to be with you. Guys, let's start as we often do with 4 downs. So you'll all get a shot at this, but Ryan, why don't you start? Just your reaction to what was, as I mentioned, a stunning loss because of how it ended.
Yeah, I mean, death, taxes, and Justin Tucker making kicks. That's the 3 guarantees of life right there. And one of them all of a sudden isn't a guarantee. So, I mean, obviously stunning. Justin Tucker had never missed an extra point in his entire football career. High school, college, the pros. I mean, so I didn't even watch it because I had gotten to that mode right now with Justin Tucker. I mean, why even watch the extra point? He's always going to make it. So, yeah, when I look up and you see the referee doing this, you're just like, what just happened?
Yeah, it's always moving to me how a place that crowded can go dead silent.
Yeah.
And the Saints were shocked, the players, the fan, everybody was. Yeah, it just, you never expected the game to end that way. So of all the scenarios you could think of for the Ravens losing a game, that would be the last one.
Is that the only reaction to have, Jarret, because of the way it ended? Or are there other things from that game that you feel like are sticking with you a day removed?
I think that people get lost and distracted by, the shock of Justin missing the kick. Number one, because of who he is and how good he is. And just because nobody expected it, it wasn't like a 55-yard field goal into the wind or anything. It was an extra point. And so I think people get distracted by how this was a playoff caliber game. It was an unbelievable football game, ton of fun to watch. But just the back and forth, the ground battle early, which I didn't anticipate to happen. How much the Saints were able to control the clock, and then the Ravens rally back and take the lead. So there's a lot into this game that you can take from it, but disappointing for Tucker because he is so good that his kick is the thing that's the most glaring and what everybody's going to want to talk about.
Second down, Cliff, how should this game be used to evaluate where this team is through 7 games?
Yeah, well, like Jarret was saying, I think it's encouraging that, we know the Saints are pretty much one of the best teams in football, that the Ravens played with them for 60 minutes and could have easily won the game. My biggest concern with the Ravens is there's been a couple of games this year, obviously Cleveland this game, where they didn't close the deal. And the NFL, there's so much parity now, you can expect to play a lot of close games. I know this team is good enough to play with anybody, but if they're going to make the playoffs, they've got to close some of these close games regardless of who it is and where it is. And instead of being 6-1, which to me they could be, they're 4-3 because they didn't close against the Browns and did not close against the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, this game I think says, like to Cliff's point, the Saints are a team that I think are going to be in the Super Bowl talk. I mean, they're a Super Bowl contending team. The Ravens, I think we're the better team out there. I think that they put themselves in a position to win that game and controlled it for a large portion of this game. So I come away feeling, wow, man, that's one that the Ravens should have and could have had for sure. But I don't feel that bad because you saw that they can go toe-to-toe with a team like the Saints.
Yeah, absolutely. Every year, in my opinion, there's, 6 to 10 teams that have a legitimate shot to win the Super Bowl. Everybody else is either rebuilding or they're dealing with a lot of injuries or they have a young quarterback or whatever. I think the Ravens are in that top 6 or 8 in the league. But once you get inside that 6 or 8, they're all good. They all have good quarterbacks. They all have weapons. They all have a scheme that fits their players. But do you win when you have to win? And that is one thing. The Ravens are 4-3. They are a really good 4-3 football team. I like to look back at my history. The 2006 football team I was on and the 2011 team that I was on were awesome football teams. I mean, phenomenal, great defense, good offenses. But we didn't win when we had the opportunity to win. And that's the team that will go on and win the Super Bowl is the team that wins yesterday's game. Can this team do it? Absolutely. Still plenty of football to play, but you do have to look at the 3 losses and say eventually you're going to have to rectify those losses. You're going to have to win on the road sometime down the road.
There's on the road, there's finding a way to win when you don't have your best. And look, we'll always keep probably going back to the Tucker miss, but there are things that happen in that game. In third down here, Jarret, this is one of them. The defense been so good, but that fourth quarter looked like, as we joked about Eric Weddle, the same old Ravens in the sense that they did let up and they let them get back in that game. How do you view what you saw from the defense in the fourth?
I mean, I understand that everybody's disappointed. It was an unbelievable streak they had going on with, not giving up a touchdown in the second half the entire season. Only giving up 12 points. I mean, that's unbelievable football. So it is disappointed that they slipped off that and gave up, what was it, 17?
17 in the fourth.
17 fourth quarter points. That is disappointing. But as a whole, I think they did keep Drew Brees in check. Kamara is a beast to deal with, and I thought they did a good job with him in the stopping him on the ground as well as out of the backfield. Do they want some plays back? Yeah, but I still think this is a top-tier defense. I don't think you're panicking or freaking out or, looking to free agent or looking into, trying to replace players. I mean, this is a top-tier team. They just had a bad half, and they're going to fix it.
I think as unsatisfying as it is to fans, sometimes you do really just need to tip the cap. I mean, that play that Drew Brees made on 3rd and 8 where he rolled out and Tony Jefferson's wrapping him up and he completes that ball for a first down is a ridiculous play. I mean, you can't defend that any better. He just made a ridiculous play, and Hall of Fame quarterbacks are going to do that. I mean, the 4th down conversions that they had, I mean, the Ravens defense was getting them off the field on 3rd down the whole game. Drew Brees jumps over the pile and gets a 4th down. I mean, sometimes.
Which should not have been a first down, by the way.
I agree on that.
It could be a touchdown. It cannot be a first down.
I don't understand why that wasn't even measured.
How do you not bring that up?
Don't even get it. But anyway, sometimes players are going to make plays, and when you're going against Drew Brees, he's going to make plays.
Cliff, 4th down here. We'll start with you. The rookies were a bright light from this game, whether it was the 2 guys that stepped into the offensive line. Lamar Jackson got his first touchdown. Your takeaways from this class kind of really having an impact on, as Jarret described it, a really good game.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I mean, the offensive line with 2 starters missing, put in 2 rookies, and really you couldn't tell. I mean, they had the last drive where they converted before Justin made the miss. You're thinking in that situation where the Saints know that Joe has to throw, that he's going to be in trouble and maybe not have enough time to throw. They really played well. And, Mark Andrews, to me, has been impressive from day one. He's a guy who not only makes catches, but after he makes a catch, he's looking to make yardage. If there's somebody in his way, he's trying to run him over. So this class so far has been excellent to me, this rookie class.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they use Lamar Jackson a little bit more. I think the wrinkle is starting to pay off. I think Lamar is getting a little more comfortable, and you see how dangerous he can be in the red zone.
Well, coming up after the break, we get back on the Soapbox. It's been a couple weeks away, but before that, here's a 360 replay of that Lamar Jackson touchdown driven by AAA.
Jackson sets in the shotgun. Flacco splits wide to the right. Jackson takes the snap. Keeps it in for the touchdown.
Welcome back to the Unscripted Couch. Time for a new element to the show. It's the Soapbox. The way this works is the panel here is going to get their chance to step up in front of the lights and give some passionate opinion about something Ravens related. Mink loves this, so I think it's something we always have to put in the show when he's here. But Cliff Brown's going to kick us off. Cliff, why don't you head up to the spotlight there? It's a 30-second clock, and I get to ding you out. And I'll count you in right now. 3, 2, and 1.
Well, I'm on the Soapbox today to say that I believe Orlando Brown Jr. should remain the Ravens starting right tackle. He got his first start as a rookie Sunday. Thought he looked really good. Also got to give props to Bradley Bozeman, who another rookie started at left guard. I thought he played well, particularly after he dealt with a leg injury. But Orlando Brown, to me, drafted in the 3rd round, was a guy drafted to be the starter. If you're going with your best 5, I think he has to be part of the mix. So I say Orlando Brown Jr., stay in the lineup.
All right, Cliff.
All right.
Giving some love to the offensive line.
I like it. That was good.
Some rookie talk. Okay, up next we have Ryan Mink,
Come on,
the
man.
one and only.
Give me my intro.
Always loves
Give
the
me my
spotlight.
intro, baby.
All right, take your spot. 3, 2, and 1. Hair looks better too, by the way.
Thank you. The Ravens are a really good team, okay? 4-3, I know everybody's really frustrated about it, but the Ravens, I'm not going to say that they're going to be in the playoffs, but they are worthy of being in the playoffs. They are a playoff caliber team. Only 2 teams in the NFL have a better plus-minus score differential than the Ravens do. The Chiefs and the LA Rams. Look, the Ravens haven't finished some games.
10 seconds,
you drop a ball in the back of the end zone against Cleveland. Justin Tucker misses an extra point. That stuff has to get cleaned up. They have to finish games, but I'm sticking with it. This is a good team.
Get off the stage.
Give me a couple
It's
extra. Give me an
lukewarm,
extra
by the way.
second.
Playoff caliber. One, it's week 7, and
Yeah.
of course they're playoff caliber. They
What do you mean? Not every fan base is saying that.
For a guy who really wanted the soapbox, I
about?
was hoping for something a little bit more scorching than that.
What? You think
People
what
are
do you
doubting that this is a playoff team.
mean? You think the Arizona Cardinals fans are saying their team's playoff caliber right now?
But yeah, if you were doing the Arizona Cardinals team show and you went up there and said we're still playoff, then I'd be like you're crazy.
Get Jarret a
Jared,
turn.
you're up. Let's try and forget that ever
Man
happened.
waiting.
All right, Jarret, 3, 2, and 1, my man.
All right, I'm here on my soapbox to talk about Joe Flacco's fourth quarter drive because of the missed extra point at the end of the game by Justin Tucker and the fact that Drew Brees was on the field, that few people are going to acknowledge or give credit to the fact that the Ravens were essentially out of it. The Saints came all the way back, took a fourth quarter
That's
lead,
right.
but Joe was able to rally the troops, make an unbelievable fourth quarter drive, and put us in contention to send us into overtime. And because of the missed kick, he's not going to get credit for it, and he certainly deserves it.
Perfect.
Good argument.
Timing was well done. And it's true. I mean, that drive, when you watched it back, it reminded me of things he'd done in Pittsburgh and some of those big games where it was as if the old Joe was back.
Did you see his reaction when he threw the touchdown to John
Kind
Brown?
of a double barrel.
Oh, he gave it
the double barrel this deal.
He was like high stepping. That was like the best touchdown celebration I've ever seen from Joe.
And it was, an extreme momentum swing. I mean, the Saints were in control early with the long drive, controlling the clock. The Ravens come all the way back, take a good lead in the third quarter. Momentum fully swings. And normally, last year, that drive would have never happened.
Yes.
And here comes Joe when fans are filing out of the stadium. He did not care. And he made 2 unbelievable passes, drives his team down the field, and scores a touchdown. And he won't get the credit because we're going to be talking about something different.
All right, well, let's look ahead. Maybe there's another drive in Joe's future here against the Carolina Panthers this week. And this is another big challenge of the NFC South. They're 4-2. They overcame their own deficit of 17 points in a win over the defending champs, the Eagles. Guys, early thoughts on taking on the Panthers on the road, Cliff?
Yeah, obviously it's a bigger game now after what happened with the Saints. And Cam Newton is a similar quarterback to Drew Brees in that he can beat you when it counts.
Yeah, I mean, if the Ravens fall to 4-4, that's a problem. That's going to be a big problem for them. The Panthers have talent. I mean, Torrey Smith is over there. He can obviously score in a jiffy. Cam Newton is a player that I think is an X factor, just like Drew Brees. You know, when I was talking about tipping the cap to Drew Brees, you can do very much the same with Cam. So I think that it's going to be on this Ravens defense on the road to kind of get back to its dominant ways and really shut down that offense.
Yeah, when you're dealing with a player like Cam Newton, and look, there's nobody in the NFL like this guy. You got to jump on him early because he is a very emotional player and one I would say is a front runner. You know, if you jump on him early and things get bad, they're going to get chippy and things aren't. But if you let this guy get hot early in the first quarter, it's going to be a long day. They play really well at home, so it's important the Ravens start fast and mix things up early. And you got to make him make an early mistake.
That's exactly right. Anytime you've seen Cam struggle early, it can get ugly. Coming up next, issue or non-issue here on Unscripted. Issue or non-issue, a chance for the panel to tell you what's worth worrying about when it comes to the Ravens after that loss and what's not necessarily a big deal. First up, the run game. I think this came up earlier in the show. Just 77 yards in this game, Mink. And look, time, situation, style of game is going to dictate a lot of this. Issue or non-issue with what the run game did or didn't do?
We've been talking about this all season long. It's still an issue. It's been an issue all year. But here's the thing. It's to the point where this is a passing offense. This is a passing offense. They're going to win throwing the ball. I don't expect the run game to turn around and suddenly be really good. It's just not going to be what this offense is this year. So the run game needs to do a few things well. If the Ravens are winning, it needs to run the ball well to run out the clock. It needs to run the ball well in short yardage situations, goal line situations. It's not going to win you games, but if it can be good in specific situations, that's okay. And I do think they ran a little bit better between the tackles this game. They tried some of that outside stuff, did not work at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a little more mix of Lamar in the running game, a little more mix of Willie Snead handing off some wide receivers, because consistently, I have to agree with you that they're not going to be a team this season that has 100-yard rushing days from a back, really pounds the rock against somebody and just takes over. But you can still win doing it the way they're doing it. The Ravens are moving the football a lot better than they did last year. They have a lot more weapons in the passing game. Joe's playing great. So you just have to live with it. No team's perfect. They can overcome the lack of a running game, but I wouldn't mind a little more creativity in the running game to give some more guys some touches.
I'm going to say it's a non-issue. I'm going to totally disagree with both of you, because you do see a constant attempt at running the ball, and it's not like they're trying to go out and gash people. They're trying to get to third and medium. But the difference is this year, with as accurately as Joe Flacco's throwing the ball and his added weapons on the outside, the passing game is so good that the running game is just kind of, it's just kind of secondary. We're not living and dying on it like we used to be. Joe had a 300-yard average through his first 5 games. I mean, I'm not really worried about the running game. The last 2 weeks, Tennessee, I thought that they ran the ball really well. Yesterday, not quite so much, but it still set up the passing game, which in my opinion is the true purpose of the running game. And they're going to hit one of those games, where they're blowing somebody out and they run 4-minute offense and they stack up 180 yards and everybody's like, oh great, now we got a running game. Well, they're using the running game in a 4-minute offense, and they're going to get that game coming up very soon.
Injuries. Last week was really one of the first times we saw them have a big effect on at least the lineup going into the game. As you mentioned, guys stepped up. But the issue or non-issue of the injuries that we did see to the 2 guys on the offensive line, Alex Lewis, James Hurst, and then Marlon Humphrey. Yeah,
Marlon Humphrey is an issue to me. He's their best corner now. And without him, if he can't be healthy, it's an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I think that both are issues. Obviously, the offensive line.
Or are these long-term, though? I guess that would be
we don't really know. It seems like James probably won't be long-term. We don't really know about Marlon. Hamstrings can be odd. Mm-hmm. But if they are long-term, then yeah, it's an issue. Luckily, I think that cornerback is one of the Ravens' deeper positions, but I agree. Marlon, I mean, you saw the difference that it made. And James Hurst, I think that he will be one of the Ravens' 5 starting offensive linemen when he's healthy. So when he's out, it hurts.
I have a feeling I know how this one's going to go, so it can probably be pretty quick, guys. The Tucker miss. We kind of started the show with this, and we'll wrap it up with this. Issue or non-issue moving forward that this is going to affect him mentally, because it has had that effect on other kickers. He's shown to be a bit different. Jarret.
I'm going to say non-issue just based off of his history, what he's done for this team, the things he's accomplished in the league. However, this is a mental game. You got to think of a kicker like a golfer. It is a mental game, and this first time he's faced controversy like this. This is the first time he's missed a big kick like this. So we really don't know how he's going to react. My opinion is that he's going to push it aside and come out and go. He's going to go kick another 222 straight extra points, in my opinion.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of Ravens Unscripted. Jarret, always good to see you. Ryan and Cliff, great as always. Enjoy the game in Carolina this weekend, everybody, and we'll see you right back here on the couch next week.